Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be men who act like boys. Well, I got 3 emails I'm going to go through with you today. The first one is from a guy who I did an email or read one of his emails in a video newsletter a few days ago. And so he applied the things that I talked about and suggested, and he had a really great experience, but we'll get into that in a minute. But before we get into the quote of the day, I got something I want to share with you on a study of people and their careers and how unhappy most people are. And this is another reason why I spend a lot of time talking about the importance of having a purpose and a mission that you really love in life. Because most people do not have it. And here's the numbers that continue to back that up. Now, this is from a worldwide Gallup study that reviewed 25 million responses in 189 different countries. Globally, the study found that only 13% of workers feel engaged by their jobs. 13% like their job. Think about that. In the U.S., the survey shows that of the 100 million people who hold full-time jobs, only 30% are engaged and inspired at work, while roughly 20% of employees are actively disengaged. In short, this is in the U.S. In short, 30% are happy, 20% are miserable, and the rest are going through the motions at best. That fucking sucks. I mean, it's just like when I talk to people and they got a stagnant career, or they're not really happy in their business or their business partnership. It's one of the things that I've always been lucky is that I learned this at a young age, was that when my heart, my internal enthusiasm was not into what I was doing, I knew it was time to move on. And whether it was finding a new job or starting a new business or getting out of a business partnership, I just not the kind of guy that can sit around and do something or work at something that I don't enjoy. And it's the same thing when it comes to relationships or friendships or where I live. It's like if I'm not enjoying it, I'm looking for something better or a way to improve my situation. It's like most people when they get into that place, or I mean if you look at these numbers, we're looking at over 80% of people, they don't do anything about it. In other words, they're not miserable enough to do anything about it. They don't know what they want, or they just avoid it altogether. And that's one of the reasons why I say most people tend to major in minor things. That was something I learned from Tony Robbins 20-something years ago. It was true then, and it's just as true now. And that, if you do something you really love for a living, you think about it, that's where you're going to spend most of your time, is at your job or your business or your career. Think about it. If you're not happy, if you're miserable, that's going to affect every single area of your life. If you're miserable at your job, you're not going to want to go to the gym. You're not going to care about eating healthier. You're not going to be in a state of mind, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically to where you can be at your best personally so you can get the kind of woman or attract the kind of woman into your life. Or if you're a woman, attract the kind of man you want into your life just because you're so unhappy in your career. But yet most people don't do anything about it. Anyways, that's food for thought. So let's go ahead. I'm going to read this quote that I wrote that I want to share with you before we get into these 3 emails. And I've got some really good ones for you today. It says, women want men to act more like men than they do. They appreciate a man who knows what he wants and how to get it. A man who is charming, humorous, a gentleman, and treats her like a lady. A man who is assertive, confident, and who has a backbone. Women don't like or want control. They want to show up, look hot, and have men lead the interaction to where they want it to go. When a woman says no or not yet to certain requests, they are not saying no to you. It simply means that certain things are more intimate than others and might take time, or not. Women simply don't know until they are there in the present moment and how they feel. So let's go ahead and jump into the first guy's email. This is the guy who a few days ago was dating an escort. He hadn't had sex with her yet. And he's basically writes in like, how do I get her to give up her lifestyle and I can start supporting her and paying her bills and blah, 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 and that kind of thing. And I basically said that is absolutely the wrong approach. You need to love and accept her the way she is and support her as she is and what she does for a living. It's really not your place. You're not her boyfriend. You're really, at this point, because you're not even having sex, you're just her friend. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and jump and start going through his email. He says, the other day, when you used my email in the video newsletter, it was a slap in the face. Like I knew what you were saying already, but needed someone to say it to me. Acting on your words, this is what occurred from Friday to Sunday. I came to terms with what you said. If I care about her and she is happy doing the high-end escort deal, then I need to willingly support her and do not attempt to have her give it up. I talked to her and literally I used those exact words. I like it when people pay attention to when I suggest things and they go and do it because they get the results. You gotta be, somebody taught me this a long time ago. In order to be coachable, you have to be fat. F-A-T, and it doesn't mean literally physically fat. It means it's an acronym that stands for faithful, available, and teachable. He says she stated that her time with clients is just business and not even close to the time that we spend together. Last night, she canceled out from a regular client to be with me. Listen to what he says. He says, I did not ask. She offered and said she would much rather spend time with me. Because here's the bottom line. Instead of trying to get her to give up her career and her lifestyle, if this is the kind of woman you really like and you really want to be with and things progress and evolve, and you show up and you act like a man is supposed to act, more than likely down the road, I mean, obviously if you're making enough money to support the two of you, she'll probably give all that stuff up voluntarily because she wants to commit herself 100% to you. But obviously if you ask her to do it, it's totally inappropriate and it's out of line. But this is where, when you act like a man, women will become submissive to you because they feel safe and comfortable enough letting you be the leader. He says, secondly, I got my ass into action. You were right. To have emailed to you my current thoughts when all we had was a friendship and no sex yet was really not on deck. What I did not tell you is that we just met a few weeks ago, so the lack of closing the sale was not something that dragged on forever. Anyway, I set up the night, planned everything out, and we had phenomenal sex through the whole night. Well, that's obvious because, I mean, hell, she's very experienced in that department. She's obviously very comfortable in her body. And that's the benefit of dating a woman who has this for a profession. Obviously, it's not for everybody, but if it works for you, keep doing it. If you're happy, keep doing it. He says she stayed over and it was awesome. By the way, I paid careful attention to her need to cuddle immediately after each time we had sex. He said, damn, you're good. I know. I'm awesome like that, bro. Just imagine when you apply more and more of the things that I teach, how much better your life is going to get. He says, I was already a man that took charge, but more like I wanted a 50-50 deal. No, you don't. You don't want 50-50. There's going to be no sexual polarity in that kind of a relationship. And a woman will never fall in love with a guy where it's 50-50. So the woman had an equal part in decisions. Well, not now. You say it many, many times in your book. But women want a man to be a man. It is in their DNA, and this especially applies in the bedroom. Take charge, choose the positions, the pace, etc. Think about it. She's physically designed to receive a man. All women are physically designed to receive men. They're physically designed to receive your strength. Letting the caveman in me outside to play or out to play. Here is a text that she sent me. And yes, this lady can write some text. Take special attention to what she is saying about men who take charge versus those who expect her to lead. So this is interesting because this is, you're getting it, these are a woman's words. And this is part of what inspired me to write the quote that I shared with you earlier. And this is the woman's words. She says, okay, so I will try to find a bikini around here somewhere. No worries at all. It's your fantasy, at least it is tonight. I just want to be prepared to do whatever you want to do. So I want to make sure I have the appropriate wardrobe choices so we are ready to go anywhere you choose. Notice how submissive she is. And this is a compliment to you in your masculinity because she's doing this because you're acting like a leader. And the word lead means to go first, by the way. If it was up to me, we'd stay indoors and maybe watch a DVD, eat something, and just hang out and play and get unbelievably cozy and lazy. Hint, hint. And not necessarily in that order. And if all that can take place in your bed, even better. Nice. In other words, you're going to get lucky tonight, big boy, as long as you don't talk me out of it like most guys do. She continues on, but tonight's about you. I have a feeling we might be thinking along the same lines, but I'm not opposed to going out somewhere. If the mood hits and you want to change it up, just tell me. Again, more, I'll do whatever you want. I'm totally comfortable letting you be the leader. It's a good fucking job, bro. She continues on, my job's easy. Remember, women just want to show up, look hot, and get seduced, right? And look what she says. My job's easy. I just show up. But you're the man, a gentleman actually, so the ball is in your court, and I prefer it to stay that way. Remember, women don't want the power. Here you have a woman that's confirming everything I teach all the time. Again, I like men who are men, not boys. I like strength and confidence in a man who knows what he wants and how to get it. I like it when men act like men and know exactly what they want from me. I like to know what you like sexually, and I want you to tell me when you're comfortable enough to do that. In other words, she's saying, tell me what you want, and you can do anything, big boy. She said, and then listen to what she says here. Remember, because when I'm talking about seduction, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, you encounter resistance, and you got to respect those beers because she's just not safe, doesn't feel safe and comfortable enough yet. You got to think of it as like a delay. I may say no or not yet to a certain request, but that never means I'm saying no to you. It just means that certain things are more intimate than others, so they might take time and they might not. You just never know till you're there. So that's a big one with me. I like a man who takes the lead, not forcefully or anything like that, just old-fashioned type of thing, I guess. In other words, a guy who respects her boundaries but keeps pushing for what he wants, and he doesn't get upset or butthurt when she puts up a little resistance. She continues on, I know that might sound odd since I am obviously open-minded on the subject. I certainly know how to be the assertive woman, but I'm surprised how many clients like that. I'll even play around with it for fun once in a while, but I want my man to feel like he's a man. So in other words, she's saying, I don't want to do anything to emasculate you. Sounds like a woman's got a good attitude. So yes, your manners and opening the doors, etc., with that sexy accent counterbalanced with your intense personality caught me off my guard very quickly. After all our talking, showing up, looking the way you do, and that you seem to be a pretty traditional Southern man with a wicked streak, lol. Remember what I say all the time, 90% charming James Bond, 10% you're the naughty boy. And I was basically in other words, 10% of the time you kind of treat her like the bratty little sister. And I was basically defenseless against you. Enough of my rambling, see you soon. And so he continues on and closes with, look at these words. She says that men act like boys, that she prefers the man to lead, but does not want to be the leader all the time, and on and on. So here is a big fuck yeah for real men. Good job, dude. Glad you had a great time. Hang out, have fun, hook up. Let's continue on to this second email. This guy says, motherfucking Coach Corey. Well, fucking A. Thanks a lot. I have to share this with you. Thank you. I have been dating this girl for 2 years, on and off, and I found your YouTube videos, and I bought your book on Amazon. It completely changed our lives. I followed what you said, but more importantly, understood what you were saying. So here's my story. My girlfriend and I were really rocky, and I didn't know why. She wanted to leave the relationship. That's not fun. Somewhere in my bitch attitude, I convinced her to go on a break. Fuck me back then. That's such a bitch response. Anyhow, I found your work and was scared to try what you teach. I made the plunge. I told her, hey, listen, this is what I want. If we can't do this, then we have to part ways. I love you and adore you. Give me a call if you change your mind. He says, that one statement changed everything. This shit works. I kept following your wisdom and read the book and keep honing my skills. We went on a few dates and I listened, really listened for once. Now she calls all the time and I just keep setting up dates. Her texts are all the time, so I keep it light and flirt, but limit how much I text now. Our last date, we had a great time and she asked me to come over. I didn't even have time to do anything before we were having the best sex I can remember. She wants you to come over so she can receive you. It's her idea. She really wants it. She's really open to it. She really wanted to feel your strength. You acted like a man, and she couldn't help but quiver in your presence. For everyone out there, understanding this information is critical. Follow it, understand it, and make it your own. Be the man you and everyone around you deserves. You fucking rock. Thanks for the push in the right direction. You're welcome. And thank you for being a fucking man and being a leader and making shit happen. Good job, dude. I'm proud of you. So let's get into the third email. This guy says, Mr. Wayne, so this is my second emergency email to you. First, I want to say every time I have a moment of weakness and I want to contact the girl I'm writing to you about, I watch your videos and you talk me down from the ledge, LOL. Well, this tells me that your fears and your emotions are still hijacking you at times. And when that happens, that's causing you to act weak and act feminine. And when you act that way, you're going to get the opposite of attraction and actually push the woman away that you want. I remember one of the women I wrote about in my book when I was dating her, and I was constantly bouncing back and forth between boyfriend, guy that she was just kind of seeing, to friends only. It was tough. I'd get things right, and she would call me more, want to see me more, and then I'd start fucking up, and she'd start backing off and be cold, distant, almost as if I was like the redheaded stepchild. And plus, this woman was very beautiful, and she had 3 or 4 other dudes that she could date. So as I was fucking up, other guys were doing things right, and so she was just naturally drawn, without her even realizing it in most cases, to the most dominant, the guy who acted the most strong and confident. He continues on, they're a huge help. We also did a phone session back in April. The last time I sent you an email, you did the video, Why You're Not a Priority, back in late September. It was very helpful and pretty damn accurate to what I was dealing with at the time. So what you gotta understand is I don't remember the content of the video. I don't remember the content of the videos I did 2 days ago. But, because I talked to so many people, I answered so many emails. But the point being is, if you were fucking up back then, you gotta remember, every time you fuck up and you have those episodes where you go from acting strong to acting weak, she remembers it. And so the longer time goes on, and sometimes you're doing things right, and sometimes you're doing things wrong, it's like emotionally you're anchoring her to really liking you, and then you're also anchoring her to being totally turned off by you. And as time goes by and this shit continues, it's like a yo-yo. It's like a seesaw going back and forth. So those kinds of bad memories and bad emotions that you've caused her to experience towards you are the kind of things that she's not going to forget. And it's going to affect how she feels towards you. So he says, hopefully you'll find this interesting and make a video out of this one too. So this girl has me confused, stumped, and at a loss for words. Clearly, I have very deep feelings for her, and it's obviously clouding your judgment. And that's why I haven't given up on her and this working out in the end. Sounds like you're trying to prove yourself to her, dude. Obviously, in some way, shape, or form, the ways that you were fucking up before, see what happens is you take the corrective action, things start going well, and you start spending more and more time together, and then like the old bad behavior comes out. And you, without realizing, after many weeks and months, because obviously it's been probably 6 months since I last did this email for you, and now you've probably kind of, without realizing it, kind of slipped back into your old weak ways. And when you act weak, women can't help but respond to you in the ways that I talk about. He says, so a few weeks after my email to you, she went cold on me again for the second time. Less texting, less talking on the phone. She was less enthusiastic when we did speak. Obviously, there were probably things that you were doing and saying that were turning her off. That tells me fundamental. You probably didn't know the fundamentals in the book. How many times have you read the book? 10 to 15 times. If it's not, you need to keep reading. I did, by the way, make sure you've read the second edition. If you got the Kindle version, you got to contact Amazon customer service to have them update your library so they can update it to the new second edition if you were originally purchased the first edition. He says, and she turned down a trip away for the weekend that she had agreed to about a month prior, citing she's got too much going on right now to go away. In other words, I got too many more things in my life that are a hell of a lot more fun than hanging out with you, dude. Maybe there's another guy, maybe there's an ex-boyfriend, we don't really know. So I backed way off as per your advice. I didn't contact her for a week, and she didn't contact me either. After waiting a week to text her, we spoke on the phone, and she wasn't opening up to me about why she's gone cold again. So in other words, you didn't back off, you waited a week, and then you kept pursuing her when she had already acted like, she basically turned down a trip that you wanted to take her on that she had already said she was looking forward to going on it. So something had happened, you had done something that turned her off, and when she backed off, you basically, instead of walking away and never looking back, you held out for a whole week, and then you called her, and guess what? She was still like, And then you confronted her about it. And when you confront, hey, why aren't you as into me as you were before? Why don't you seem to be, you don't call me as much? And she goes, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I had a girlfriend who used to say that to me. I don't know. In her little baby talk tone. She never tells me what she's really thinking, and I asked why she's been so distant and cold. You're never going to get a fucking straight answer. And she goes, I don't know why I do what I do. I did a video, I don't know, a year or two ago called Do Women Understand Women? And that's the thing, is like most women don't understand. All they know is what they feel inside. In other words, your actions are causing her to feel like, I don't think I want to go on that trip. Maybe next. I know I said I would, but So when a woman acts that way, you got to back off. But because you're so gonzo over her, you hold out for a whole week, and then you start chasing her again. And then when she's still like, what happened? You probably kept chasing. Which just turned her off more because you're not acting like a man. You started acting like a woman. The power had flipped. That's obviously what was going on here. How do I know? I look at her actions. I look at what she's doing. These are the typical kinds of responses. When a man acts weak, this is what happens. So what really has me baffled is just a month or so prior, she was very warm, writing me cards, very sweet notes about how much she cares about me and wants me in her life and how important I am to her. And she was super sweet and affectionate when we did hang out, have fun, and hook up. And then bam, something happens, and she's like a different person, and it feels like she could give two shits about me. She completely stops putting in any effort and doesn't make herself available to hang out. And yet you probably continue to chase and pursue and try to change your mind because at this point you were so goo-goo gaga over her that you it's like you see the power starting to slowly slip and you're like, it's cognitive dissonance. You're like, nah, that's not happening. She's not cold. She didn't just turn me down for sex. That didn't just happen. Maybe she's just having an off day. I'll get her in a few days. He says, I don't understand why, if she likes to hang out with me and always has a great time, she suddenly stops doing it. Women behave and act in response to how you are showing up. And if she was all over you and then went cold, there was something you were doing or something you were saying. And that's why you need to know my book backwards and forwards and inside and out. And you obviously don't know that. Because the other, it's like I talk about this stuff a lot in videos. And a lot of guys are very egocentric, all of us, because we don't want to admit that we fucked up or that we're wrong. We don't want to take any responsibility for failure. We want to just say, I don't know what it is. It's in the book, dude. If you read the book, again, the second edition, it'll be in there. If you don't know the fundamentals, you're going to fuck up. You may be doing things that you think are innocuous and no big deal, but look at her actions. Something happened, you said something, or you did something, or a behavior that you were displaying, and she got turned off and became cold and distant. It's either that or there's some other ex in the picture that she's always been dating. Or there's a possibility that she's just a fucking wacko. But, like I said, it doesn't sound like it. It sounds like it's something that you did based on her actions. I'm very aware to monitor myself about not chasing her Well, I know you're saying that and you think that, but you waited a whole week. When a woman is cold and she's like, I don't think I want to go on that trip, you reward a woman's good behavior with more of you. And when she treats you badly, takes you for granted, blows you off when a trip is coming up that you had both planned a month earlier, you walk from that situation because your attitude is like, I'm a fucking catch. If you don't appreciate me as a catch, I'm out of here. I'm on to the next. I'm not waiting around. Not that you're going to tell her that, but you're going to show her that through your actions. But you fell under the illusion of action. How I know? I look at what you said you did. You waited a week and then you texted. And she was still cold and distant. And you probably continued to pursue and it just got worse and worse. He says, I let her do most of the initiating contact via text or calling, never talk about a relationship, and always just to focus on hanging out, having fun, and hooking up as you preach. Well, it's obvious that over all those months that you were interacting with her, you never backed off enough to the point where she fell in love with you, meaning the woman should be doing 70 to 80% of the calling, texting, and pursuing. The guy should never be doing more than 20 to 30% of it. And when you date a woman for that many months and she still doesn't fall in love with you, that tells me that you're not romancing her properly. If we did a phone session together, I could pinpoint exactly what it is that you're doing. But you're obviously bullshitting yourself here because you're trying to make it sound like, hey, I did everything perfect and I don't know what happened. But enough of the truth slipped out in your email where I can tell. It's like you can't hide, you can't bullshit me. You can bullshit yourself, but you can't bullshit Coach. He says, so this leads me to the present situation. We haven't seen each other in nearly 2 months, and I stopped all communication with her back in mid-November. So here's the deal. You call her and you ask her out, and she's like, and what happens? You continue to call every week and ask her out. So mid-November, it's mid-December. So it's only been 30 days since you stopped all contact. So that tells me for a whole entire month, you continue to pursue and you continue to call her and ask her out when she was like, I'm busy, So you telling me that you didn't over pursue bullshit, dude, you did. Because when a woman has that attitude like, I'm busy, what you need to say, and I say it all the time in my videos and I say it in my book, great, when you figure out your schedule, give me a call because I'd love to see you. And then you walk and you never look back. But you didn't do that. You kept calling, you kept pursuing, telling yourself, well, I'm not calling and pursuing too much. But she kept rejecting you. He says, so here we go again. She has started to text me again and call me for the first time last week. So it took 3 weeks. 3 weeks went by and she finally reaches out to you. And we chatted and talked about getting together. I tried to make a definite date, but she hit me with, I got to check my calendar. Great. Figure out your calendar and give me a call. I'd love to see you. We'll plan something then. And you have to do nothing after that. And then say maybe 2 or 3 weeks goes by and she calls you. She ain't going to go, hey, I checked my calendar. I'm ready to see you. She's going to be like, hey, I saw a movie the other day and it reminded me of you, or some kind of shit like that. And you're like, great, we got to get together. I haven't seen you in a while. I miss you. When are you free to get together? And if she gets, I got to check my calendar. I don't know. It's like, great, figure out your calendar and get back to me. I got to run. I can't wait to see you. Bye. Then maybe another week or two goes by and she calls you again. Hey, I was talking to my girlfriend the other day and we were talking about you. What are you doing? What are you up to? It's kind of how the conversation would go. I go, hey, it's great to hear from you. That's awesome. Well, God, you know what? We need to get together and catch up. When are you free to get together? Oh, you don't know? You need to check your calendar? Great. Well, I'm real jammed up. I'd love to see you, so figure that out and give me a call back. The phone is for setting dates, dude. So now I wait for her to reach out to me again. My question to you is, how do I end this seesaw game? Stop pursuing her. When she says no or blows you off or acts lukewarm, walk and never look back. You over pursued her for a month before you finally realize, every time I've asked her out for the past month, she said no. Current events form future trends. If you keep pursuing, you keep calling, she's like, She's losing respect for you because you don't value your time. If you were a catch and you acted like you were a catch, the first time she gave you that, you would have stopped all forward movement, and it wouldn't have taken 3 weeks for her to reach out to you. It might have been a few days or a week. But you kept pursuing and pushing her away, and her attraction level kept dropping and dropping and dropping until you finally said, you know what? I'm going to try walking away. He says, how do I get her to stay in my life? Stop chasing her. Stop pursuing her. Or do I think she's passive-aggressive type? No, she sounds like pretty much a normal woman for what you shared. It's just you're fucking up, dude. Sorry to tell you, but it's you. It's your behavior. It's your over-pursuing and continuing to pursue when she blows you off and acts like she wouldn't date you or she wouldn't sleep with you or if you were the last person on earth. It's because she always runs away right around the time that we get close because you start going, I like you so much. Oh, I really like you. You're my favorite girl. And as soon as you get all dopey, guess what? She's like, you're acting like a woman, bro. And she walks away. I mean, one of the women that I wrote about my book, it was like 2 months. Because I kept calling her. It was like I did the same exact fucking thing that you were doing. I kept calling like once a week, every week and a half. And she was like, I'm busy. I can't. I'm not sure I'm able to be at this point in my life. Or some other kind of bullshit. And then finally I was just like, fuck it. I didn't call her. I didn't do anything. And then like, I think it was 2-3 weeks went by before she finally called me. And then I asked her to do something. She's like, I'm busy. And I was like, great. Call me when you figure it out. And then I just stopped asking her. And she kept calling me, and we would talk for a little bit, and then she brought up getting together, and then we made a date, and then things started getting back together. You know, plus I didn't know it at the time, but she was still kind of dating the guy she supposedly was broken up with when we met. So that was another reason. So this girl, maybe she found another guy, because you were just kind of casually dating all those 6-8 months, whatever it was, and she started dating somebody else because he was acting more like a man, and you were like, I like you so much, Your Highness. He says, I want her back, but I'm so tired of this emotional drain. Well, stop acting like a fucking woman, dude. Read the book. Your advice on what I should do going forward to get her back or a way to figure out how to be strong enough to walk away from her is very welcome. You got to bite your fucking tongue. The first sign of lukewarm interest or she's not responding to you or she turns you down for a date, stop all forward movement at that point. Don't keep calling her for a month to ask her out. Like, hello. I mean, it's simple, but it's also very hard when you haven't overcome this inner demon, this neediness, this insecurity that you have. And plus, you should be dating other women. You should have some other options and some other choices because then you wouldn't be so desperate and acting like she's the only woman in the world for you. So if you'd like to get my help personally, the quickest way is to book phone, Skype, or email coaching. You can do that by going to my website, clicking the products tab at the top of your screen, and choose whatever option is best for you. And I will talk to you soon.